Looks like I got 2 returns yesterday. This one's from Christian. Let's see. Huh. Long sleeve polo returned. Not a single thing wrong with it. I hate you, Christian! Returns, returns, returns. Today I want to talk to you about returns on eBay. From the beginning of time, people have bought things and wanted to return them on eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, all the platforms. Okay, I don't know about Depop because I don't sell or have ever sold on Depop. But most people like to have returns because they don't like what they got. They didn't expect it to have a certain feel, a certain fit. It didn't work properly. They couldn't figure out how to get it to work properly, or there was some problem with it that wasn't shown in the photos. Now, when it comes to returns on eBay, I get them all the time, and I want to explain to you why I don't think they're that big a deal. If we go over my numbers from last year, if you guys have watched the channel, my income video, I sold $207,000 in the men's clothing category. I profited about $64,500. Pretty good year, a lot of volume, a lot of sales, a lot of profit. Now, with those sales, we had 9,158 total sales. Those are like individual sales of items that sold from my house, from my garage. Out of those sales, I had 205 returns. 205 returns is a lot of returns. Think about how you feel when you get a return. You get like that pit in your stomach, that kind of stab through your pride. You're mad. You're sometimes understanding. You're frustrated. You're like, I already spent that money. Now I got to give it back to them. Now, imagine that times 200. So I had to deal with that last year, and it just kind of rolls off my back now. Almost like whenever rain hits a duck and it just kind of rolls off his feathers. It's pretty much the same thing for me. Now, 205 returns, that means I'm getting 4 returns every single week. So when I go to the post office, I drop off my packages. I have to check my P.O. box to see if I got any returns. And when I don't get a return, I'm like, yes. When I do get a return, I'm like, okay, whatever, like another return. Why is it not that big a deal? Well, whenever I dug deeper into the numbers, I looked up my average sale price for last year, which was $22.66. And if you multiply that by 205 returns, you get $4,645. $4,600 in returns. That could buy you a beater car. It could buy you 4,645 items from the dollar menu, if the dollar menu still exists. I don't know. Some McDonald's across the country don't have it anymore. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money if you only sold like $10,000. But if you sold $207,000, it's not a lot of money. It's 2.24% of returns of the store. So that's like, it's a drop in the bucket. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they happened, but it's part of it. And returns doesn't mean you're a bad seller at all. I actually am a great seller. I think I'm one of the best sellers in the history of sellers. If you are one of those people that are perfectionists that think you need to go 10-0 and that if you go 8-2, it's a bad season, guess what? You're going to have a lot of 8-2 seasons on eBay or in business in general. You're never going to be perfect. You're not going to go a whole year without getting a return if you're selling any amount of items. Now, it would be great to not get any returns. It'd be wonderful to just have everybody be happy with what they got or to be stuck with what they got. But the fact of the matter is, these platforms have returns in place because, unfortunately, there are people that scam other people. And also, would you want to buy from somebody if you weren't able to return the goods? I wouldn't even click buy on that because there's a good chance that it may not be what I want. Or maybe I make a mistake. Maybe I get the wrong size because it doesn't fit. Like that's by far one of the highest ones that I get is does not fit. But it's true. Some people don't know their size. Sometimes the shirts don't fit right. I mean, there's plenty of items that I buy that I try to put on to see if I can wear it and then realize it doesn't fit. And I have to describe in the listing like, hey, this is a slim fit or, a baggy fit or the measurement's 32 waist, but it actually is 31 because it just shrank over time. Like, you have to be good whenever you're describing your items so that you don't end up getting as many returns. But even if you do every single thing right, there's still a very high chance that you're going to get a return because people out there, they change their minds all the time. I mean, sometimes people buy things and then they're like, oh, I can't I can't afford it. Like, I got to pay for my rent. And I'm just like, well, why would you buy like a $30 shirt if you got to pay rent? You know, it's just part of society. People are just used to buying and returning things, and it's not anything you can really do anything about. I mean, if you want to play ball, you have to play by all the rules. And one of the rules that unfortunately you got to play by is people can demand returns for any reason whatsoever. There's people that all the time will say, oh, this color is not the same color. Like, I demand a full refund because you didn't describe it correctly. And I'm just like, easy with the aggression, man. But at the same time, that's a drop in the bucket like we talked about earlier with the numbers. Don't let those things get you down. It's just going to be one of those things that you have to deal with, that you have to push through. And honestly, it's one of the not so bad parts about eBay. I mean, I would think the worst parts about eBay are whenever there's like the glitches. I don't even know if you want to call it a glitch, but whenever eBay says, hey, you need to update all these item specifics. I don't know if you guys were selling a couple years ago, but there was a time where you had to bump up your item specifics to some more required ones. And I had to go through eBay and start updating all these listings. Like, I couldn't stand that. I thought I was already playing by their rules and they changed them. So you had to change with it. Having to deal with returns is just part of having to deal with society, about having to deal with business in general. Everyone hates taxes. Everyone hates returns. Everyone hates things that don't go their way. Paying fees to eBay is probably one of the biggest ones that people hate. But if you're going to try to like make money using these tools, and there's these expenses and these things that are in place because that's just the way things work in the world, you cannot have the good and none of the bad. You got to have a mixture of both. And if you can understand that and accept that, then you won't get upset whenever you get a return. I mean, you're not going to be happy when you get a return because it adds another task in the workflow of like getting your business to operate smoothly. It's just part of the game, man. I mean, if you don't like it, then don't play the game. If the oven is too hot in the kitchen, then get out of the kitchen. I mean, you guys know. I just wanted to like put this video out so that people can kind of understand like, hey, it's okay to get a return every once in a while. It's not going to crush your business, but it's kind of a wake-up call of like, you know what? This stinks, but that's a part of life. You're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have a lot of returns, or you're going to have days and weeks without any returns. But the more you sell, more likely you are you're going to have more returns. I hope this video was good for somebody. I don't know. I read a lot of the Facebook group messages and people complaining about, oh, a lot of returns on eBay today, like blah, blah, blah. But guess what? 4 times a week it happens to this guy. So be glad if you don't get 4 a week, but be okay if you do, because in the end, it's worth it. Looks like I got 2 returns yesterday. I hate you, Christian. Ernest, you returned some jeans probably. Let's see what she said here. Looks like it's a pair of diesel jeans, pretty expensive. Diesel jeans, wrong size or doesn't fit. Why? Why, dude? Just take the jeans, man. What? Just returns, man.